All right, we have one more derivative that involves the chain rule, but this time we'll have both chain rule and quotient rule. So this is probably the hardest derivative problem that the professor has given you, but it's still not super difficult because you're new to derivatives. So it's just like you need to be careful about calculations once again, okay? So we're given f of x equals x squared plus 1 over x minus 2 to the power of 8. So once again, if we just had that inside piece, then it would have been simple quotient rule, right? But now we have this function built into another function that takes this and raises it to the power of 8, okay? So once again, we have composite function, and therefore we'll need to use the chain rule. So the inner function is x squared plus 1 over x minus 2. But then the outer one, okay, so let me just circle this like that. The outer one is taking the inner function and raising it to the power of 8, okay? I want it green like that, okay? So whatever's inside of the inner, but it's raising it to the power of 8. So how did we approach this? What was the chain rule? So the chain rule says that, in order to find the derivative, you need to start with the derivative of the outer function. So the thing that's inside of the outer function, that whole expression, we're not touching it for now. We just bring the exponent down as a coefficient, so 8 times. Then we fully copy the inner function. For now, we don't care about it, okay? And then from the exponent, we just subtract 1, so it's gonna be 7, right? But we're not done. We're done with that first part. Now we need to multiply by the derivative of the inner function. What's the catch? The catch is that this is not very easy to calculate, right? I cannot directly calculate the derivative of the inner function like I did in the previous problem. So I'll now just copy it and write the derivative sign. And I'll keep going. So I have 8 times. This will basically remain unchanged. So I'm just going to keep copying it. X squared plus 1 over x minus 2 to the power of 7 times. And now guess what? Here, can we split this in the way I told you in one of the previous problems? Well, the answer is no, we cannot. We could have split it if it were just x in the denominator, but we now have a minus rule. Like even if you have a plus, doesn't matter. You cannot split it this way. So now we just gotta use the quotient rule. So for the quotient rule, remember how we had these two parts, numerator and denominator. And we start with the derivative of the numerator. We multiply by the regular denominator. And then we subtract the opposite way around, the other way around. So we have the regular first function times the derivative of the second one, okay? And we divide all of this by the denominator squared, okay? I know it's a little bit intimidating, but you'll get used to it with practice. Okay, so this I keep copying. I have 8 times x squared plus 1 over x minus 2 to the power of 7. And now here, from now on, I'll be a little bit faster with calculating the more simple derivatives. So I won't be explaining in detail, push the component down, the exponent down, then subtract 1 from the new exponent, because I already explained this multiple times and I don't want to bore you. So I'll just write it more quickly. So that's going to be 2x, that's the derivative here, times, I just copy this, x minus 2, minus, copy, x squared minus 1 times the derivative of that thing is going to be just 1. So I don't even need to write it, okay, like that. And then I have x minus 2 squared, and I'm done here. Okay? Keep going. 8 times x squared plus 1 over x minus 2 to the power of 7 times. And now I'll just expand the brackets. Again, I'll do that very quickly because I don't want to repeat myself. 2x squared minus 4x minus x squared plus 1 over x minus 2 squared. 8 times x squared plus 1 over x minus 2 to the 7th times, and now I just subtract these, so that's going to be x squared minus 4x plus 1 over x minus 2 squared. And that's your final answer. This is not very easy to factor out. You cannot factor it out into, x minus 2 and something else in order to cancel out. So you can just leave it at that, and this is a perfectly valid solution.